Here we are,
Live.
Tales from the Deep. And we're recording as well for Tales from the Deep.
The D.
What up, y'all? MCMNG.
Master Shenlo on the scene. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's living well, and healthy in this time of pandemic crisis. What a time. What a time.
What a time.
And we got a freaking vote for either Biden, Trump, or Kanye.
Right.
Like, don't forget about Jo Jorgensen. Jo Jorgensen, she's actually a pretty legit candidate up in the ballots. So if anyone out there voting third parties, I definitely recommend going gold.
Yeah, there's definitely no shortage of options this year, man. Shit.
Yeah, definitely not, man. Yeah, but it's all gonna work out the way it's meant to. Spirit has that magical way of just making everything work. So
Yeah, it's meant to be always shake out.
exactly.
But I mean, who do you think you're gonna be voting for, huh? Any ideas yet?
Man, my original candidate is not even on the ballot.
And who was that?
Marianne Williamson. She was the one who was going to change the world for the better. I knew it. But she just didn't have the polls on her side, and the crowd, the masses of people were not with her. So
Yeah.
she fell out the races actually kind of within the years as the elections continued, we're pushing. I still think she's a good candidate, but yeah, she don't have a chance, bro. So Jo Jorgensen's the next best.
Okay.
She's pretty good actually. She's a female candidate. I actually believe, me personally, I think we need a woman in power.
Okay.
To give us a new face and a fresh perception of things. Women have a different way of operating than men.
Okay.
So I think it would be good to have, a woman in power.
I agree. Definitely it'd be great to have a woman in power. Definitely something different, definitely a change. And it's great to have change and things of that nature, and be, ever changing.
Exactly.
Trying new things, and
Change is
should have
definite.
had this maybe 100 years ago, but better late than never. So, but yeah, Jo Jorgensen definitely seems like a pretty good candidate. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard.
It's
so
really hard, I know, and I hate that thing. Oh, lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
There was a good meme. It's like, when you're voting for the lesser of two evils, you're still voting for the evil.
Yeah. No doubt. Evil's still evil.
Exactly, Well, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Biden, oh my gosh. I do not want Biden in office either.
Yeah, it's a shit show, man.
Oh, man.
It feels like 2016 all over again. You know what I mean? Like,
I know when Trump was first going up, I was so disappointed when he got elected.
It's the shiniest of two turds. Hey, man, shit. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting decision. I mean, for sure, I'm definitely not voting for Donald Trump.
Oh,
Didn't vote for him then, not voting for him again.
No, definitely not Trump. That's for dang sure.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm gonna have to do third party, man. And just hope for the best. Just hope for the best. Solid.
Cross your fingers.
Yep. Cross your legs, cross everything, man. Your butt cheeks, your eyelids.
Yeah, it's tricky times, and shit, this pandemic ain't helping at all either, man.
Hey, man, you gotta remember though, it is what you make it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've been making actually a beautiful experience. there has been a lot of turmoil, a lot of shaking and freaking rapidity in the waters, but pushing through. I've actually learned how to man my own personal sails in this journey, in this voyage, and I hope everyone could do the same. I feel like that's what a lot of this is happening for us. It's for us to start to become more independent, because everyone's pushing away from the government, from police, from corporations. People are starting to push more to themselves. So I think that's what it's about. It's about becoming more independent as individuals, you know, and helping each other out with our independence. Hit that son, go out. But I really see, you know, a bright future for us. You know, if we once we get past this little dark spot, you know, I really do see greatness on the horizon. That's one of my favorite terms.
No doubt. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, like, you know, there's like that quote, you know, like it's always darkest before the dawn. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What it really is just, you know, it's highlighting issues. You know, it's showing us, you know, where we can improve. You know, what we can improve on and how we can make things better. You know.
We can't escape it. We have to face it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's smacking us in the face.
Yeah.
Left and right.
Yeah, and you know, even then, you know, it's sad because some people ignore it, you know, and don't want to change because, you know, what's now is comfortable. You know?
Exactly. And with growth comes discomfort. You know, and that's one thing that everyone successful will tell you just about. And we all must learn that with growth comes discomfort. Do you think the seed, when he's cracking through its shell, do you think he's comfortable? Or do you think he feels kind of weird because he's having a whole entire new experience? He's breaking the surface of something, you know, through this shell, and he's digging through these layers, this barrier of something else, you know. And now he's trying to reach something. He doesn't even know what he probably doesn't even know what he's doing. He's just trying, you know, to go outward, you know, and grow.
Yeah.
And then he breaks surface, and he's like, "Whoa, what is this?" And he just experiences it. You know, I bet the seed doesn't even think. It just be. It's just itself, and it just experiences it. You know, and I feel like we gotta be more like the seed, the tree. You know, like everything is just itself. You know, like even wildlife, it's all itself. Whether it's a carnivore, herbivore, it does what it does. You know, and then it has its time too. You know, it has its cycle, and it goes back to nature. You know, along with everything else. You know, and that's also one thing I feel like as humans we have a hard time accepting is our own time. You know.
No doubt.
And everything has its time.
No doubt. You know, everything has a beginning and an end. You know, like mortality is, you know, it's part of it.
It's necessary, honestly, you know, because, for instance, you take a plant. If you leave the dead leaves on that plant, the dead leaves are just going to take all the nutrients from that plant and not help it grow more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to remove the dead leaves in order to help grow the plant. You know? And that's like life. In order for life to grow more, you know, dead leaves have to fall off the tree, and, you know, and die. You know, and then new leaves come.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. One that I was thinking about is like a star. You know, when it explodes and goes supernova, all that stardust, it's just fertilizer for the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's what we are. You know, like in a way, you know, more than metaphorically, you know, even physically. You know, when we die, we literally go into the ground and fertilize the ground. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
allow for the soul to become fertile and stuff like that. You know, it's just it's part of the cycle. You're part of a. You know, you're like one. You know, you literally are one cog in a machine. You know what I mean? Like you keep the thing going.
Exactly. And then maybe your piece isn't efficient enough anymore. You know, so you have to replace a piece. You know.
Yeah.
And now there's a new piece, you know, to make the machine run more efficiently, you know, to update it.
Yeah.
And that's just life.
Certainly.
Life's a trip. It's the best song
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure y'all's checking out that new music we all got coming. Deep Sector on the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Coming with it.
For those of you who don't know, me and this guy right here, lyricist.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Deep Sector.
Oh, man.
Shit. Always come with it. Always just thought provoking. No matter what, you're gonna provoke the thought.
Yeah, if you're willing to think.
Yeah, if that's your cup of tea, if you're a thinker.
Yeah, I'm a thinker. I love to be thinking all the time. That's why I be just listening to thought-provoking music most of the time, whether it's just my music or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, there's a variety to that too. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the most lyrical stuff is not always the most thought-provoking stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa. You know, like,
Exactly.
you know, there's variety, and you know, there's options out there. You know, just never limit yourself.
It's about balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's good to have, you know, music for having fun.
Yeah.
I don't knock people for making party music. It has its place.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's actually a key component in hip hop if you look into the history. the party music is. This actually what started it all. It was just a party. You know, everyone was just chilling, having fun with each other. You know.
Yeah.
Partying it up, and then when people started to see that you can use it as a tool to reach people with a voice, and then it was also abused for that same reason, you know, because they seen how it affected people. You know, it can move people in certain ways. You know, you can start movements with just music, with a song.
Yeah.
A song can move a whole mass of people to believe one thing, just like Hitler did. You know, with his background, you know, he had speeches. You know, any way you can reach a person and connect with somebody, you can move masses of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The voice is the most powerful vehicle to do that. You know? We gotta take advantage of our power. We have a great power in just being able to speak.
Yeah, man.
You know, and also think for ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, shit, yeah, man. Like, all the power that we have, you know, we're just like conductors. You know, we pull this energy out of the air and we can manifest into whatever we want. You know, it's limitless.
Exactly. We pull it out of everything that we intake: the air, the food we eat, you know, the water we drink. You know, it all has information. The books we read, you know, the people we talk to. We're all information. Everything is information. You know, it's just our mind is a constant information processor. You know, like we're speaking right now, and this information has been calculated most of the time, mostly in our brain already from years of training. Our brain to, you know, to think a certain way and to perceive and understand that this is this and that is that. You know, and our understanding of that information that is collectively agreed upon is what we are reading right now, and we put into perspective, and we are able to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? For instance, like right now, we're just talking about pretty much just random stuff that is coming up, you know. But it's all information we've been learning and educating ourselves upon our whole lives. You know?
Yeah, man. It's all about, you know, information. You know, like and improving and learning about that information and building on it. You know, and going somewhere with that information and using it. You know, because anybody can learn something, but if you don't use it, it's useless. You know, like you gotta be willing to put it in effect, and you know, like, cause say like there was this gentleman who, you know, had all the knowledge in the world, maybe even the universe. He knew everything, right? But he was a mute, and he couldn't talk, right? Or he couldn't even communicate in any sort of way. Like, I would just be like,
a waste of knowledge.
Yeah, you know, like that all that knowledge, like, you know, it's just like, why? You know, like it. Yeah, but you know, it's wild.
Yeah, everything has a purpose. You know, like you were saying already. You know, everything has its place, and that information is meant to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It isn't just meant to just stay where it's at.
Yeah, it has a purpose. You know?
Life is motion, fluid. So for you to hold on to something and not let it be motion outward is withholding the life within you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From life out here. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So I try to be as open as possible.
I agree. No need to hoard knowledge.
Exactly.
Really, no need. Like, from watching this one Joe Rogan Experience with Kevin Hart on it, he was talking about, like, what is he gonna do? Take it to the grave with him? Keep it in the grave? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right?
At that point, it's useless. It's lost knowledge. Kind of like what I'm saying with that, like, if the person had all this knowledge and he was mute, like, or couldn't communicate, like, lost knowledge. Like, it's redundant. There's no need.
And and if it didn't reach nobody, that would kind of suck.
Yeah.
What if you did know everything about the universe, how it worked? That would propel our growth and evolution as a species so much.
Yeah, you could change everything, change the way things work.
Yeah,
Why people do certain things.
We gotta tell you people out there, you mutes, you guys need to start talking. Alright, because y'all probably hold the secrets to the universe. I'm serious. I'm not playing. You don't know. You don't even know what you know until you know.
Yeah, tell us what you know. We'd love to hear what you know.
Yeah, I'm freaking.
Want to hear what everybody
curious.
knows.
Exactly. I'm so curious. Sometimes it's freaking my downfall because how curious I am. It takes me
Curious
down
Georgians, bitch.
Yeah, for real, man. But I've been learning. What was that? I wrote this. My last witty I wrote, it was like, on that road. What did I say? I don't know. It was just mainly learning how to control my own curiosity. That was what it was about. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to control my curiosity and not let it run too wild. Like Pandora's box, That's how I see it. The story of Pandora really sticks with me because it's about about Prometheus. How he stole the fire from the gods and brought it to the mortals. And then the punishment that the gods gave the mortals was Pandora and this box she had, which contained all the evils of the world, every evil thing that is known to exist.
Yeah.
And they told her to go down, and mingle with the mortals. And she hooks up with Prometheus' brother, and she's mingling with the mortals. And they told her not to open this box. But as time goes on, her curiosity just grew and grew and grew until she finally couldn't take it no more. So she's like, all right, I'm gonna open this box. Boom. She opened it, released all the evil in the world. And then she closed it because there was like a wretched noise, crazy sounds, chaotic noise. She's like, oh my God, what did I do? And then she's like, wow, she just let all the evil out in the world.
Yeah.
But she opened the box again, and there was one more thing that came out. It was hope,
Yeah.
That was what the gods gave the mortals as a fighting chance against all the evils in the world, which was the one little thing, hope. And it always stuck with me, because of how curious we are as humans. We're all curious, maybe if I do this, I wonder if I do this, what will happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what science is all about. It's like being curious and like figuring out what'll happen if I do this or this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Figuring out the reactions to things. And it can turn out to be our downfall because sometimes we're curious in some of the wrong areas. For instance, like, I'll just speak from a little bit of personal experience, where I see that. Was my curiosity like when I had a woman, and I had a curiosity to be with another woman, which ended up being my downfall. I lost the woman I really truly loved because I had a curiosity to see what it was like to be with another woman, and it released this evil in my world that, I've been learning to try and get a grip on, with a little bit of hope that I have for myself, because I kind of make my world a little bit crazier than maybe it used to be with my views on it. But that's just a part of emotions. Those waters hit, cascade, man. It's freaking rapid.
It's
hard to control. Kind of go crazy sometimes. You jump overboard. You maybe learn how to swim. And that's how I felt. I feel like I learned how to swim. And I'm in a good position now, and I've learned a lot from my experience. I hope I could help teach someone else. That's my goal. I want to pass on my information, like I was saying. Like, there's no point in holding on to it. Like, for the longest, I held on to a lot of things I would think about because I wasn't ready to talk to it about it. And I'll still do that. If we're not ready to talk about it, I won't talk about it. But I'm not going to forever hold it. Just it'll come when it's ready, when I'm ready to speak on it. But yeah, aside from that, like, I have a lot of theories that I'm ready to share. I've been sharing with people left and right. And, I feel like they hold a little bit of merit. Maybe it'll help someone think a little differently. Maybe I could change someone's life. I don't freaking know. My goal is to just spread my information and knowledge.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad we're doing this. I feel like this is actually a good outlet. This podcast.
Yeah,
no doubt. Good outlet. We'll talk.
There's gonna be some knowledge just flowing out there right into your ears.
Already is.
Already is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, in my opinion, like, I personally feel that, like, you should just live integrously. You know what I mean? Live with integrity. Be honest with yourself and with others. But like we talked about before, like, some things just don't need to be talked about. Like, and maybe you're not ready to talk about it, but yeah, sometimes it's just not the time. Or maybe this just isn't the person who needs to hear that. Just because, that's just the way it is. That's the way it should be. Because you shouldn't be either or on either side of the spectrum, whereas you're holding everything in and not saying a single thing. Like being like so quiet, it's like yes or no is our answers.
Yeah.
Or on the other end of the spectrum, where it is, you're telling every dude you run into your entire life story.
Yeah,
no
right.
holds barred, nothing held back. Every embarrassing, deep thing that ever happened to you or anyone you love. You know what I mean? Not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But like,
it's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not. People really don't care. In all reality,
Yeah. Especially some random person.
Yeah.
Like, they really don't care.
Yeah.
I've noticed though, like, I've talked to people who actually do pour out like that. Like, what one person has told me is it just mainly helped them just get it out.
Yeah.
To just get it out of themselves. That's because they just don't like holding it in at all.
I get that.
I completely understand that. And this person actually understood. They don't care if the person doesn't care that about their life story or whatever. You tell it anyway.
See, and that's like therapy. That's what people go to a therapist to do. Just to speak and let it out.
Right. That's one thing I try to do. A lot of times when say I have someone who's really emotional around, maybe they're in a really dark space.
Yeah.
I just try to let them talk. I don't try to try to put my input in a lot of times. I just let them talk because a lot of times they just need to get it out. Then maybe hug it out again.
Yeah.
Just show that you have someone there who can listen to you. That's powerful on its own. To be able to listen to somebody, know someone's listening to you, hearing you out. That's strong.
Listening is very important.
Okay.
Everybody's. A lot of people, not everybody. A lot of people are so worried, about like thinking about the next thing, like waiting for you to stop so they can start. And I mean, a lot of people just listen more. Just take the second to actually see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Instead of just like but thinking about the next thing. Like just in your head, like just jumping right on as soon as you stop.
Yeah.
Something that I've worked on a lot, personally, and I feel it's good to have, and even personally, like since I have worked on that, like I'm not saying I'm the greatest listener even still, like I just, not, I still have thoughts, I still think about things, and you say something that triggers something in my head, and I run that way, and like and it's just the way things are, but I mean, it's definitely good to be mindful of how much more of a listener you could be, or
Yeah.
even the opposite end, how much more of a talker you could be rather than much more of a listener all the time.
Or if you're even listening in the moment. Sometimes I notice in myself at least. Sometimes I let my mind will just wander, and I'll lose track of the whole entire conversation because I get caught in a thought. Maybe like how you say, what you say just triggers me. Think on something. That happens, bro. All of a sudden I'm in this spiral thinking on what you just triggered me to think on. I'm like, oh shit, where were we at? What were we just talking about?
Yeah.
And I get mad at myself a lot of times because I don't want people to think I'm not listening. It's not on purpose. It's just kind of a natural thing. It's good.
I mean, just it's tension. Like really only can focus on one thing.
Yeah.
The way I see it, like 100% one thing.
Yeah.
You can do two things, 50-50. And then it's,
but that's 50-50.
Yeah, it's not 100.
You can't do 100% two things. It's just no way.
Unless you can physically split yourself into a complete another copy of yourself, then okay, I can see that.
Hey man, I don't know, man. The way technology going,
Right.
And might we go tomorrow? We got freaking people duplicating themselves.
And then you never know. Technology's advancing by the second, man.
It's wild, man. There was this video I was watching. Oh, actually, I didn't even watch it. I seen it. And I read like the summary of it. It sounded actually kind of interesting. It was like an hour-long movie type deal. Just interviewing people, documentaries on that Gaia streaming service.
Okay, yeah.
And it was about pretty much the computer, the AI that's here now, and the networks that we're all on, and how are we even ready for this? Are we prepared to take on this level of technology? Because we're so dependent on it. We've become so dependent on technology, right? For instance, the other day, my freaking store had a power outage.
Okay.
And we ended up having to shut the store down. It just stops everything. Technology, like in my phone. On top of that, my phone was dead. One of my coworkers' phone was broken. So we didn't have nothing. It was like Stone Age type deal. I was like, damn, man, this is crazy. Just think, if we really lost all our technology, bro, the world would be in complete shock. It would probably cause entire chaos if everything were to just shut down on us.
Yeah.
Especially majority of people don't have any knowledge of any type of electricity. Making up their own electricity generators, anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually lucky enough to have bought a book on it. But that's not common knowledge. Not everyone's trying to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Not everyone's trying to be an electrician. And it's just something to be mindful of, because it's a reality that can happen at any given time, really.
No doubt, dude, no doubt.
Technology, it's not all powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt it's convenient. Yeah, but I mean, if we got hit with like an EMP, bro,
oh man,
we'd be lost. The way I've been kind of looking at it is, in a way, people want to talk about in the future, when we get implants and stuff, we'll be cyborgs. I think we're cyborgs now.
We are, bro.
Yeah,
with these phones.
Yeah, dude, we're connected.
We're not apart from these phones.
Yeah, dude.
Not even one day.
What do you consider your social media presence, right? That's you. That's technically you existing virtually.
Yeah.
In a way. You're putting out everything you that represents you, or what your likes, your dislikes, things you find funny, and things about you, your personal self, and it's like essentially you living virtually.
Yeah, and that's why I don't put too much of myself online, because that's how people attack you. They see your vulnerabilities and stuff. People put their vulnerabilities on Facebook. And there's people out there who literally look for your vulnerabilities just to put you down and attack you.
Okay.
And break you down. So you gotta weed that out. You know, don't put yourself so vulnerable on Facebook. I mean, I get it. We all have emotional times, but I feel like it's better to just reach out to the people. You know, talk to somebody. You know, rather than going to talk to the world on Facebook, because the world has something to say.
Yeah.
And it might not be something you like.
Right. I mean, yeah, you know, like, I kind of wonder, you know, because a lot of people, you know, vent on Facebook, and I mean, like, you know, it's kind of funny because in my like experience, what I've seen, you know, it seems like a lot of people will put that out, and it'll be like, you know, the opposite of kind of what they were expecting them to say. You know what I mean? Like, that I think, you know, people sort of expect a lot more people to sympathize with how they're feeling and things like that. But yeah, like you're saying, you know, people are, you know, they're just waiting to pounce. You know, they're waiting for an issue that they can argue against.
For real. I be like that too, bro. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
I do it kind of just for the fun of it sometimes, you know? Like, I'll go I argue about spirituality all the time, you know, with people. And it's not like I'm trying to prove my point. Sometimes I'm trying to just be an asshole. Sometimes I do have a point, and they just don't understand it. So I end up stopping talking. There's no point. You might get through something like that. But lately, I've actually been working on not trying to do that, not trying to be that asshole. Just have something to say that's opposing to everything, just to oppose everything. You know, you don't have to oppose everything, man. It's kind of ended up being ridiculous in a way. You know, you becoming redundant. I almost started just opposing like the stuff that I even agree with. You know, like stuff that I agree with, I'll oppose it just to oppose it. You know, and just to freaking be on the other side, almost, you know, and experience that other side of it. You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, in a way though, like, it's kind of good to have that, you know, to kind of just have that, you know, other perspective, or, you know, that sort of play devil's advocate with yourself, to sort of, you know, just see the other side, you know, have like, you know, so you're not caught off guard, you know, say like when someone's like approaches you with a different opinion or something, it's like, never took that into perspective, you know, like, cause, you know, you just never thought about it. So it's kind of good to, you know, think about the opposition, or, you know, from the other side.
Yeah, see, one thing I do is I usually, I put myself as if I'm someone else, you know, like maybe I'm, like, how would you think it is, you know, like maybe I'll think on you in particular, you know, how would Isaac think of this situation, you know, and I think about how you are as a person, how I see you, you know, and I try to put myself almost in your body, you know, and see through your lens, you know, and to help round out my perspective. You know, that's also why I read books.
Yeah.
So I can take in this perspective, so I can add it to my own and see things more in a rounded variety, you know, of perspective. So I'm not so trapped in my own little box.
Yeah, man. No doubt. I mean, you know, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of maybe going in circles about that, but like, yeah, and I mean, I definitely, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely not good to be living in like a isolation chamber, you know?
Yeah, but it's definitely good to know your own values, you know, and where you stand as a
No doubt.
person, you know,
No doubt.
and what is for you. Yeah, that's something I've been working on with myself for the past couple of years, you know, really learning myself. What do I value as a person? You know, what do I value also in another person? You know, like, what makes me like to be around people? Just stuff I never used to think about as a kid.
No doubt. And I mean, these are important things, you know, because once you can understand stuff like that, you know what you value and what is important to you, then you can really, you know, zone in and narrow down on what you want to do, you know, what you need to do, you know,
Exactly.
to, you know, achieve success.
Yeah, it's easier to direct your life from that point. You
Yeah.
know? That's that's exactly what helped me find my direction, because a lot of my beginning experience, I had hardly any direction, and it's because I didn't know myself. I didn't know what I valued really, you know, like I had an idea, I had like some sort of idea of who I was, but I didn't know who I was, you know. And once I learned pretty much who I wasn't, you know, I knew I was able to know who I was.
Yeah.
You know, like this isn't who I am, you know, this is not for me. Yeah, that was an ongoing process of years. It wasn't just like I thought I had this deep revelation one night. Oh, this is who I am. Nah, bro. It was like years of me, dark nights. Sometimes I would be alone, freaking questioning my own existence. You know what I'm saying? And just lost, really, in my own self. And until I really was able to, piece it all together and clarify the vision of who I am, the image of myself. And now here I am.
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about myself. I won't say I know myself entirely because it's still an ongoing journey.
Ever changing? And then I think, when I realized that, the fact that the guy who started this podcast isn't the same person that I am now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it's ever changing.
Exactly.
Once you realize that, it's it really is a game changer. And it really in a way for me, it kind of set my mind free. You know what I mean? Instead of keeping me trapped and sort of I have beliefs, I have values, but instead of keeping me trapped in those beliefs and values and making me be someone who's just outright, gonna die for those beliefs and, not even letting any other belief penetrate my mind because that's the truth,
Yeah.
which is, way a lot of people are. And, it's just the way it is. But, yeah, once you realize that, you're not bound to anything, that, you're changing, you're growing, and you have the right to learn, change, and grow. That's as a human. That's what it is. There's always going to be, new information coming out. Just because, back in the day, cigarettes were, apparently you could smoke inside, and, it wasn't even a thing. That's what people did. But, it's because people didn't know. People didn't think about cancer like that. It wasn't something that was actually taught. I'm sure the cigarette companies knew, obviously. But, people didn't know. They didn't think smoking in the car with your 2-month-old baby and the smoke getting in their face and everything. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah. Now it's known how secondhand smoke is actually even worse than people actually smoking cigarettes.
And it's when people realize that it's okay to learn new information and keep going. That's what it is.
Exactly. There's one thing I read in this book. It's called the Book of Mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, that's the way of spirit. The way of spirit is newness. Ever changing newness.
Yeah.
Life. Be fresh. And just like the seasons, the seasons go through their phases. You have the seasons where spring, everything blooms, blossoms, and in summer it's all flowered and nourished and freaking nice and plush. And then it fades, it starts to die. In fall, in winter it's all dead.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to life anew. And that's just life. It's just renewing itself. Always. It's just cycling itself back into itself, renewing itself.
It's just a cycle, a long cycle.
Yeah, it's actually kind of. It's an interesting freaking little ride we're on here, on this freaking journey of life.
Rock hurling through space.
This rock hurling through space. For real. Rotating around the sun, rotating around a star, rotating around a galaxy, around the freaking another galaxy.
Around a black hole.
Yeah, around a black hole.
Yeah, man,
everything's just in cycles. Rotating around each other.
Even the fucking planet's in a cycle. Shit. Literally,
bro. It's just the way of life, why life is cycles and cyclical.
It just makes you wonder, in the grand scheme of things, I'm talking about universal creator and shit like that. You know what I mean? What is the importance of a circle? You know what I mean? What is the circle really? Because it's everywhere. The planets are spheres. Everything becomes circular. How it just makes you think You know, like in the grand scheme of things, like how really important is the circle? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, you know, because like even the sun's round. You know, like everything is like a ball.
yeah, ball is
Like a circle, circular, you know, a sphere.
makes you wonder, you know, like, and maybe it's just, you know, just the way I guess tends to be in our universe. Who knows? Maybe like it's different in other
Maybe there's
universes.
freaking, maybe in Parallel Universe, the sun's a square.
Yeah.
That should be funny, bro.
It's just the way the math shaked out on this one.
Right?
Like the ones and zeros landed.
Yep. Maybe the other universe, they use 2s and 3s. I don't freaking know.
Right? Shit, dude. I haven't been there yet.
When you guys go and venture there, just let me know.
Yeah, let me
It's
know.
like-
When you see those 2s and 3s instead of the ones and zeros, let me know.
Yeah, when you see the sun is a square, take a picture.
Sheesh.
Oh man.
So much.
Hit that, hit that, hit that.
Yeah, I'm rolling into 41 right now.
I think it's been a good podcast. I'm hoping everyone's gonna start enjoying these little adventures, tales from the deep.
Yeah, man, we're just getting started. You know, we got a lot more knowledge and info in the brain.
Yeah.
It's waiting to unload.
Oh yeah. And, you know, everything's ever changing, so perspectives change. You know, thoughts come up in the moment. You never know what's gonna unfold. So stay tuned, everybody. You know, smoke it out. You let it ride out for the last couple minutes. And you get that.
Yeah, man. Because you know, that's what we be always keeping it coming, always constant. And, you know, y'all keep up with the peace and the love. And, you know, learn something new. I challenge you. Just one
Me
thing.
too.
Two things then.
Step it up challenge.
Yeah, step it up.
Not just one day. You can't just learn one thing new one day. You gotta learn something new every day.
every day.
That's the challenge.
I gotta learn how to keep my keys intact.
Me too. I gotta learn how to keep my keys
I
intact.
listen
My
every
keys
day.
are freaking flying. They're flying out of my pocket, falling into other dimensions.
Oh.
Dimensional thieves.
Yeah, man, they're freaking fairies.
I
Them
thought
fae,
that
they
was
are some tricksters. That's what I always heard.
Shit. Alright, y'all. Well, it's been real. And stay tuned. Let's keep listening to our music and stuff. You know.
Yeah, we got a lot coming. Yeah, tap in. We got a show coming up next month. We'll be opening up for Gadamus. If y'all want some meet and cheap tickets, man, we got 5 on deck. It's gonna be I believe they're $30 a ticket, but it's gonna be live. We got me and MNG, the Sector from the Deep, on the scene. Man, it's gonna be a great show. So be aware.
You already know. You already know. Alright, y'all. Peace and love.
Shout out.
Sorry guys, I got a lot of people doing.